People, so in this video we are going to be talking about portfolio growth. I'm going to let you guys know what I've been doing to grow my portfolio over the last couple of weeks and what I plan to do moving forward. Okay, so let's dive into it. Now, the broker I'm using is Interactive Brokers. Now, first of all, just notice how I'm not using a Robinhood or a Webull or the new one, Moomoo, that I'm hearing about. I'm doing that for a reason. I'm using Interactive Brokers because this is a broker that has decades of history behind them. So I know that they are trusted. So I feel secure growing an account with a substantial value. All right, so I'm going to leave a link in this video description. You guys go ahead, open up your free account with Interactive Brokers. Now, the last time I did one of these portfolio update videos with you guys, the value was significantly lower than where it's at right now. Now, it's not so important, the starting value. The starting value could be anything. It could be $100, could be 10,000, could be 100,000, could be a million. It doesn't matter what the starting value is. It's more about the evolution, right? That's what should be of more interest to you guys in terms of what strategies am I using to grow the portfolio from whatever base it was currently at. Okay, so over the month, this thing says this is up like just over 11%. Now, every portfolio is going to be up over the last month because we know the market has done well. So pretty much regardless of where you've been invested or what you've been buying or what you had in your portfolio, you would have seen an increase over the month. But here's the key thing. The key thing is that I'm doing things that most who have portfolios are not doing. That's the key, okay? Most are restricting themselves just to buying stocks, but I'm utilizing different strategies to allow the portfolio to grow, even in times when the market doesn't have a great month like it's had. So if the market for the next 4 weeks, for the next month, right, just goes sideways, guess what? My portfolio value is going to continue to increase. And I'm going to talk to you guys about that in a second. Now, the market's been on a tear over the last couple of months. A lot of people will be happy about that. A lot of people will be excited to see their portfolios move up, to see that they've been making money. But I'll tell you guys, how I view it is it doesn't excite me and it doesn't make me happy to see the market move up. And this is the reason, okay? When the market's moving up, it's more challenging to make moves. You make the money when the market is moving down, when the market is low. That is when I am pumping out a high volume of moves across my different strategies, right? So I love it when the market's moving down, not when the markets are moving up, because I know the market's going to move up. I know the value is going to grow, okay? All that needs to happen for that to take place is just time. But when the market's moving down, that is when I really get excited. So I'm not excited right now about the market moving up. Look, if we see some sort of rollover action, some cooling off in the market, that's going to get me excited because I know I'm going to push out a ton of moves right across the strategies, and that is what's going to enable the portfolio to make the next leg up. Okay. Let's go through the portfolio. Let me show you guys, some of the activity and what's been going on. I might leave some timestamps, okay? I might leave some timestamps in this video just to make it a little bit more digestible for you guys to, jump to the part where I'm talking about different strategies. Okay, cool. So, as I mentioned in the last one, the portfolio, like if you literally compare it, like all the line items to the last video, you guys will see some significant changes because a lot of what's going on in this portfolio is selling puts. So in the last portfolio update video I did with you guys, you'd have seen like a long string of puts that I sold. Now, if you look at the current portfolio, none of those positions that you saw in the last video are currently here. Now you're seeing a long string of different puts that I've sold. So I've made all the money, collected all the premium from those puts, opened up a fresh batch of new puts, right? And all this is over at the Discord, where those guys see every move that I'm making, okay? Now, let me just talk to you guys about, or just understand, what these line items mean, because the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so the top 8 line items, right, are all sold puts. So if we just take the first one, Marvel, this is Marvel Technologies, semiconductor stock, strong name, okay, strong stock. Now, what I did was, if you guys remember, I think it was last week, we had that period where Nvidia came out and downgraded their numbers, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, because that was a significant shift, right, in business activity. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But what you will notice was we had a period where for 2 days semiconductor stocks sold off, so volatility increased. So whereas most people thought all the semiconductor stocks were going to retest new lows and that was the end of the semi space, what I did was I sold a ton of puts. So when I say selling puts, all I'm doing is I'm getting paid for accepting to buy that stock at a given price, which is lower than the current price, in like 4 weeks or 6 weeks time. And this is the first strategy that we're going to be talking about. So Marvel, so let me just talk to you guys about some of these numbers so you can kind of understand what it means, okay? If you look at on the left, right, it says September 23rd, $45 put. Right now, off the top of my head, I think Marvel's trading at like 57, I think, something along those lines, 57, 58, okay, something like that. What this is saying is, I'm prepared to buy Marvel on September 23rd, okay, for $45 if it gets there, in lots of 100, right, in lots of 100. So I've sold 3 puts on this. You can see -3. That means I would be liable to go ahead and buy 4,500 times 3 on September 23rd if this drops to $45. And in doing so, I'm going to get paid. What am I going to get paid for that? Well, if you see, it says negative 224. So this is the amount of premium, this is the amount of cash that will be available to me, okay, as time goes on. So as time goes on, this 224, you can think of it as it's locked in, it's locked away for now, but as time moves on, that number will go down, and then that will move over, right, to the right hand side where it says total P&L. So it says $67.6, 23%. So what that's saying is, right now, because I opened this like last week, so in that week's time I've accumulated 23% of the total value here. So as the next weeks go on, that 23% will continue to climb up until it's the total, and the total amount is going to be the 224 plus the 67, okay, so like what, 290, pretty much what, $300 for making this move. So I've made that's the Marvel move, right? If you go down, you can see I've got it on semiconductor, I've got it on AMD, on again Barber. Interestingly enough, I took advantage of a volatility spike, I think it was 2 weeks ago, right? And that one's 55% collected. So as time goes on, that will go up to 100%. Okay, so that is why I said in the beginning, if the market just trades sideways, okay, for the next month, or even if the market slightly moves down, my portfolio is going to continue to increase, because as time goes on, I'm going to continue to build and collect the premium from selling all these puts, okay? And I'm always running these puts like 24/7. I close out, open up new ones. Now, the reason why I've spent a bit of time talking about this is because most people, it's very, what's the word? It's very common, right? It's mainstream, that's the word. It's mainstream for people to buy stock, okay? But it's not mainstream for people to sell puts, and it's never going to be mainstream for people to sell puts, because it's viewed as something that is sophisticated, when really and truly it's not as sophisticated as it might sound. Like selling puts sounds fancy. It's not. You click a few buttons and you sell the put. Once you do it once, you know how to do it, and you know how to use it as a consistent income generating source. That's why I talk about it, right? Because a lot of you guys will be on the newer side to selling puts. A lot of you guys might have heard about it. A lot of you guys might not know so much about it, but it's never going to be mainstream. But if it, as I say, it's literally a guaranteed way to generate income. All right, let's move over to some of the stocks that I hold in here. Apple stock, first of all, not holding a large position, but literally Apple stock is like 5% off all-time highs. That is crazy. Like, the thing, Apple stock can be quite frustrating in the sense that you get people flooding in because it's seen as a safe haven or somewhere secure, okay? But now, right, for someone like me, a fundamental investor, the valuations are just way out of whack with how the company's actually performing. Almost 30 times price to earnings, whereas the growth, I believe, is like 7%, hovering around that. It's going to continue to stay around that type of level. That's low growth for an expensive price tag. So it's a stock that has done exceptionally well. I don't know how it's, look, there are some technicals, right, that make it, a lot of the movements that you guys see in the markets are not necessarily a one-for-one correlation on how the business is performing or news release or news updates. A lot of the movement you see in the markets is technical driven, okay? Once you guys can understand that, it makes the way that you perceive and interact with the markets very, very different, okay? So there is a technical setup that has pushed Apple up to a certain level, and the same thing with Tesla is what we're seeing, okay? It's more technical driven, not news release and business updates and that type of thing. That's a concept that you guys should understand, okay? Because it will allow you to capitalize on opportunities. So I have no intention of buying Apple anywhere near where it's at right now, but it's performing well. But I think it's a technical move. Tesla, same type of thing, okay? It's a technical setup. I did a live stream with the guys over the Discord, and there are some levels, all right, that are looking like there could be levels of resistance until we see a strong break and then a successful retest, okay? So I have no intention of buying Tesla. If Tesla got down to the 750 region, something like that, okay, there's a potential technical setup to buy it at that level, but no intention to buy here. Cool. Nvidia in this portfolio right here has been for a long time the you call it the weaker link, okay? Definitely bought this on the earlier side, okay? One of, if not pretty much like the only stock that's in the red in this current portfolio. But look, that drop that we saw in Nvidia, right, in terms of revenue projections for this quarter from, what was it, from 8 billion to 6 billion, that is significant and that is concerning, and that doesn't support the valuation that we're currently seeing. There are certain stocks in the market that are always going to be on the overvalued side, and that's just how it is. And I do believe Nvidia is always going to be one of those. You're never going to get to a point in time, I believe, where you're going to look at Nvidia and from a classical fundamental analysis view, you're going to say, oh, that is undervalued. I just don't think that's going to happen. So I have no intention of buying any Nvidia. There are competitors in the space that are just positioned much better, okay, where the valuation is good, the growth also matches that, the cash flow generation also is very strong as well. What you will notice is there's a heavier weighting to semiconductor names in this portfolio because semiconductors give the best blend of strong valuation and strong growth out there in the market, hands down. So that is why I have positioned this towards strong semiconductor names to take advantage of a lot of the undervalued, okay, but massive opportunity setups that we're seeing in some of these semiconductor names. So Qualcomm, since we last did a portfolio update video, is, I believe, I'm pretty sure it is the only stock that I've added. Okay, now I added at lower levels than we're currently seeing right now. It's currently in like the 150 somethings. I added in the 140s with the guys over the Discord recently. So obviously since then it's done well. It's moved up. KKR is an asset manager. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Microsoft isn't a name I touch on too much. I haven't really got too much to say on Microsoft right now, but it is a significant component of the portfolio. If I'm being honest with you, I believe it's positioned better than Apple is, both from a fundamental point of view. Most certainly growth is better, okay, with Microsoft. I do believe they're going to navigate the time very well, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. AMD, okay, one of my favorite names in the market. I think my average in this portfolio is around 84, 83, something along those lines. So I believe it is the best stock performer so far, because right now it's trading at 100 and something. There was a legendary post that I put out over at the Discord when AMD hit its low, and I was urging everybody, right, to take notice and take action of AMD when it was trading at 71, which was an exceptional discount. So I took advantage of that, both from a selling of puts perspective, sold tons of puts, but also bought the stock as well, which is why it is the strongest stock performer in this portfolio. And when this pulls back to certain levels, I'll definitely take advantage of again. So going back to the beginning of this video, I was telling you guys I'm looking forward to when we see some cooling off action in the market, so I can take full advantage of that. Right, this movement that we're seeing up in the markets is great for those people who want to see the portfolio numbers move up, but I make a heavier volume of moves when markets cool off, right? That's where the real money is made. That's where the real portfolio evolution increase is made and is built. Google, which is actually the largest position here, is in the green. That's probably a change from last time. I think last time it was flat. Now it's up a couple of percentage points. Google was an undervalued stock, and that's what I like to do, take full advantage of undervalued names in the market. Google was most certainly undervalued a couple of weeks back when I was accumulating, when I was building. I should say a couple of months back, because I haven't bought some Google in a while. But a couple of months back, around the time where they brought out their last earnings, is when I was building my position in Google. So now they're quite significantly higher up that mark now, but they're doing well, right? So no intention to buy any more Google at this current level. I want to see some rolling over action, and then I can get more busy in the markets, right? So that is it. That's what I've got for you guys.